The treatment of Naughty Dog and just the glazing of Naughty Dog, the perpetual gobbling of Naughty Dog in the current gaming economy is something that never ceases to amaze me and confuse me. Because this is a company that has made one, arguably two games since the beginning of the HD era that I would consider to be really like praiseworthy. And just for the sake of YouTube comment rage baiting, I'm not going to tell you what I think those two games are. But I think in the last decade especially, this studio has become a complete mess. Which, man, I wonder if there was a major change in the studio's, like, the top of the studio's pyramid within the last roughly a decade. I can't figure out what changed. The PS5 era of Naughty Dog has been completely fucking embarrassing, and I don't even like this studio. Their last new game was released in 2020. That's not to say they haven't released any games since 2020. It's just they've released the same games over and over again since 2020. They couldn't even manage to squeeze out that live service game that they literally ripped out of the 2020 game. Like, really think about that. The last time Naughty Dog released a game, it was in 2020, and part of that game that was released in 2020 needed a little more time in the oven to make sure it was worth consuming, and then they just didn't release it. And the reasoning they gave is still so insulting. If you actually believe their justification for canceling Last of Us Factions, you're a fucking moron. I'm sorry. Like, you really think they spent several years and several $1 million on the development of this game, and then suddenly just woke up one day and they were like, wait a minute, guys, we don't want to support a live service game. We just, we weren't really thinking about what it takes to like maintain a live service game, so we're just gonna stop. You really think that's what happened? You really think Naughty Dog spent millions of dollars in several years making a game that they didn't even understand? You realize that if you believe this explanation, that means Naughty Dog are the dumbest people in the industry because they spent all of that time and all of that money on something without even knowing what it was? Like, of course that's not what happened. What actually happened was the project was a mess because this studio is comically mismanaged. Which brings me to today's topic. It was reported the other day by Bloomberg that Naughty Dog has ordered employee overtime for Intergalactic to get the game back on track, and it's slated for a mid-2027 release. Now, why is this so funny? First of all, it means that Intergalactic, there's a really solid chance it doesn't even come out this generation, or it's gonna be pushing this generation, which means Naughty Dog literally will have done absolutely nothing for the PS5 generation and still be seen as one of Sony's heavy hitters. That's hysterical. Like, where is this studio getting all of its funding? Why are these people getting paid? Who is doing the checks over at this studio? Because also, you know what this means? This means that assuming the game comes out in mid-2027 and does not get delayed, that means there is a 7-year gap. A 7-year gap between Naughty Dog's new releases, and apparently that 7 years is still kind of pushing, like, guys, we really gotta crank it into overtime to make sure we get this game out on time. On time being 7 years. Like, yeah, man, we're really pushing the deadline here. It's gonna come right down to the finish line. Because apparently 7 years is a debatable amount of time to make it to the finish line. These budget reports, I want to see them. Oh my lord. I just want to know what Naughty Dog's yearly, like, operating budgets are and how much revenue they bring in. I just want to see it. I just want to see it. Those numbers have to be hysterical. The amount of money that Sony is pouring into this studio with literally no oversight or products to speak of in return. It's incredible. But this report is also funny because remember back when they made a big deal after Last of Us 2 about how they're not doing crunch time anymore? We're not going to crunch our employees. We're not going to crunch our developers. We're Naughty Dog. We're the good ones. We're not going to crunch them anymore. Well, this headline sure makes it sound like there's about to be some crunch coming down the pipeline for this studio that will have had 7 years to put a game out. I cannot stress this enough. Like, I cannot stress this enough. 2020 to 2027, no games. Assuming this game doesn't get delayed, 7 years to get a game out, and you are still apparently going to need crunch to get the job done. Who is paying Naughty Dog all this money? What do they do all day? When I say the AAA gaming industry is one giant money laundering scheme, this is exactly what I'm talking about. What other industry can have 8-9-figure budgets for projects that are not possibly going to make that money back once it's all said and done, and they are given this much time to do it with no real hustle until the 7-year mark? In what other industry is this even remotely possible? It's fascinating. And it's not a universal thing, because on one side of the coin here, you have studios like Naughty Dog, who are just sitting on their hands doing nothing for 7 years and still getting paid. But then you have other studios like Capcom and From Software, who are putting out bangers like once a year, once every other year. Boom, giant game that looks great and gets good reception, positive reviews, positive sales, boom, easy. Here's another one, here's another one. And then you have Naughty Dog just doing nothing, and people still act like they're the pinnacle of the industry. It makes no sense to me. But anyways, the blatant slap in the face and mistreatment of the consumers has gone completely on deaf ears in the Sony faithful audience, because in response to these headlines about how Naughty Dog is apparently, really cutting it close with that 7 years they had. Oh man, we're gonna come right down to the wire with that. We might need to fund another Last of Us re-release to help with the budget here. But in the face of these headlines, there were a decent number of PlayStation fanboys and Naughty Dog fanboys just being like, yeah, dude, that's awesome. That's great. This is great news. I love getting literally nothing for 7 years and then maybe getting a game that I will maybe like, possibly. Because these people have already decided it's going to be the greatest game of all time. Because these people still think Last of Us 2 was good. Like Broken Games HDR here, who says good. Here come all the virtue signalers acting like their favorite studios don't crunch. Rockstar Def doing it with GTA 6 and a ton of other studios, but for some reason we only hear a lot when Naughty Dog does it. Couple things wrong here. First of all, we absolutely hear about other studios doing crunch. You yourself just brought up Rockstar and GTA 6. Was Rockstar and GTA 6 not all over the headlines like a month ago because of the crunch culture? You can't say that we only hear about crunch when Naughty Dog does it when you yourself, like 8 words prior in the same tweet, brought up GTA 6. Also, maybe the reason why you consistently hear about Naughty Dog crunch is because Naughty Dog has a bad habit of putting crunch in like 100% of their development projects. And the reason why it really feels like we hear about that a lot is because 100% of Naughty Dog's development projects is like 2 projects over the last 10 years. And both of them have had crunch, apparently. No, Last of Us Part 1 does not count as a real project. I shouldn't have to explain why. The comedy of this headline is not that there is crunch, or that crunch might exist. Like, the existence of Naughty Dog crunch in itself is not funny. What is funny is the existence of Naughty Dog crunch for a game that's had 7 years to have something to show for itself. That's hysterical. Who is running the show over there? At some point, the game studio is gonna have to release a fucking video game. Mr. Kell's Game says, we are winning Game of the Year 2027. Bookmark this comment. Like, this is what I'm talking about. People have already decided that this is Game of the Year. Like this is why Naughty Dog gets away with it. You've already decided it's Game of the Year based on nothing. Oh, Joe, they showed a trailer. They show trailers for things all the time, and then the gameplay or the game or the direction, something changes. Especially when the trailer gets released like 3 years out of the alleged release window. You literally know nothing about the game that you are getting when Intergalactic actually comes out, and you've already decided it's Game of the Year. You are the problem. You are why they do this. Mr. Kell's Game has another zinger take, says Twitter online folks cry about AI tools in gaming development, cry about devs trying their best to work harder so game can launch faster, cry about games taking too long to make, cry about how character looks, cry about devs not working faster. Maybe you guys are the problem. I say it again. At some point, the game studio has to release a fucking video game. And I'm just amazed that the Naughty Dog fans aren't more upset about this, because you're the one that built that studio. You supporting the games and you supporting the studio is the reason why they have this reputation. You're the reason why they have all this funding. You're the reason why they feel so comfortable not giving you anything for over half a decade and then telling you have to wait even longer. But if you want to take this mindset, okay, answer me a very simple question then. Why is this only a Naughty Dog problem? Like, seriously. Like, why are you complaining that Naughty Dog takes so long? Well, why doesn't everyone else take that long to make games? Why is it that From Software and Capcom and whoever the fuck develops the Yakuza games, I forget what studio that is, and indie developers with much less manpower and much less funding, AA studios with much less manpower and much less funding, why is it they can get games out more consistently than Naughty Dog? What is different? And if you are a fan of Naughty Dog, if you're one of the people who built this studio up with your wallet, I would just expect you to be more frustrated about this. Like, this should feel like such a slap in the face, shouldn't it? This studio that you built has given you nothing but re-releases and remasters for this entire console generation. And now they're telling you to wait even longer to maybe get something new that you might like. I would just be so insulted as a consumer if I was the one in your position, but apparently not. Apparently you have no problem with companies just walking all over you and taking you for granted. Streets of Gage says, here come all the performative "I'm not buying this game now" posts. Well, I mean, it sure would be funny if nobody bought it. If they put all of this time and all this development and all of this money and they finally release the game and nobody buys it. Like, dude, what the fuck would even happen at that point? I want to know. We as a gaming community have the opportunity to do the funniest thing of all time. MHM, oh, with the Last of Us profile picture. How surprising that is. Says, actual reality, they stopped doing crunch for 5+ years, and now that people, and probably Sony, are mad that it's taking so long that they have to adjust. Crunch isn't good, but you as a consumer / publisher / investor have to accept longer dev times, as you can't have both. I say it again. Why isn't this a problem across the board? You're correct. You're correct that making a game takes time. And if you're a publisher or an investor or a consumer, you have to understand that it takes time to make these products. So why isn't everyone struggling to make products in a timely manner? Why is it just Naughty Dog that seems to have this problem? Could it be the management of Naughty Dog? No, it can't be that. It can't be that. Because then we'd have to criticize Naughty Dog, and that's just a bridge too far, Joe. Kill yourself if you want to criticize Naughty Dog. It's just like, you just have to let them cook. We have to keep shoveling money through their front door for literally nothing in return. Because eventually, they'll make a game that looks so lifelike, like a movie. You people are not gamers. Like, you're just not. Nick the Game Guy with the Astrobot profile picture. I wonder if that will influence this take. Says, doesn't seem like that big of a deal to me. Sucks, but I'm sure people will freak out. Overtime sucks no matter what, but this doesn't seem egregious. It doesn't seem egregious to get literally nothing for 7 years from one of the most highly funded and most praised studios in gaming. It's not that egregious. Don't worry about it. I'm sure this will set a fantastic example for the rest of the industry. I mean, imagine if every studio operated like this, right? Getting paid to do nothing for 7-8 years at a time, and then giving people a game that only a percentage of the volume base will actually like. That's a phenomenal way to, inspire goodwill between the consumer and the people making the products. It's super financially responsible as well. God, look, if you can't get a game out without overtime and potential crunch, if you can't make it happen in 7 years, I just don't think you should be a studio anymore. Or at the very least, you shouldn't have the management you have. But there will be no accountability here. There will be no change in management. Everyone is just going to keep scratching their heads as to why nothing is changing or getting better over at Naughty Dog, and people are going to keep sucking them off at every opportunity. Neil Druckmann will continue to make millions upon millions of dollars for doing 2 hours of work a year, and eventually the AAA industry will crash, and I'll be there to stare at it and laugh and take a sip of my coffee and then do something else, I guess. I got plenty of other games to play in the meantime. I'm literally never going to care about playing a Naughty Dog game again, because they're all just Uncharted 2 at this point. It's just Uncharted 2 with different landscapes and different wallpaper and different game pacing. It's all just Uncharted 2. And I've played Uncharted 2. Do something else, please. But I have a sneaking suspicion that Intergalactic is just going to be sci-fi melee combat Uncharted 2. I genuinely hope I'm wrong. Don't really think I will be. But that's where I'm at. Doofus Club time. I own 20 copies of The Terminator on Laserdisc, The Gamer 127YT, Baron von Waterheim, Floppy Pinkus 97, Damon Porter Bridges, Unicorn Rocco, Goji Fan 2005, Hornsmith Third Chin, Biscuit 1101, Nate, The Return of the King, Rise Upside Down, Billy 310 Char, Wild Gamer 2001, I came, Winky, I gooned, but I saw nothing, Kush, Doug, Nigsy, Smile, Dirty Mike, and the boys. The other day, 7 dozen eggs, Max Killer V2 Gaming, I want to squeeze Herman's with Sembles, Grimsy, It's a Hard Nug Life, Nice Dude, One Man Savage, People in a Bowl Hat. No payoff, official drag zone. No, it's Gara getting pegged under a bedsheet. Uwu, Vector, Vendetta, Auto-Tune, Mechanical Resonance, Sick Nick, Mad Fox 94, Exchange Induction, Bear Brain, Sick Rider, Broken Crown, Pro Rock for the Racking. I'm buying all the Steam controllers for myself. Devastator 2000, Jake Spider Monkey 1994, hashtag biggest dickish, Schmidt, the Schmidt, Chris Void, Vast Dennis, Game with Debbie Blumelski, Big Fudge, Thrash, The Vibe, and Odd Club, The Penguin, Jojo 6, Moltheme, Really Zerd, Oracle, Blast 1314, Jimmy Chops, Master Killer, Firestorm 2056, Tom Strolaxon, Unknown 806718, Live Action Scooby Doo from 2002, deserves an Oscar. I own 6 copies of Click 2006 on Blu-ray. Benderfon Dude, Teaching, Ragnar, Non-Voila, High Partial Me 8, Vox Auto, Cogman 4372, WX, Snake Eyes 3D27, MK2D996. Hint bags, Monkey Gamma, Fire has 105, Tech Game Jones, Slim Jim, Lord Bowser II, Joe laughs us in the moat. In the moat is where he does that. Gay Local Little with Autism, PC Gamer, Jessica Shepard, Ricky Spauber, GT Dabby, Xylophone, Doofus Prince Academy, Career the Steel Angel. I own 10 copies of Elf 2003 on Blu-ray. Cyrus 6771, 2 Texan 940, Ziggity, Creedboard, 23 Max, Cheb, some of the chat, Totally Insane, Black Cobra, Face the Wall, Xeno Lover, Knight of Cypher, ML04, but Wolf of Midnight, Pig Venus, Steven Studios, Film Kraken, Ungaming, Tariq, Bound, Thorns Game, Magnetic, Severed, MS Persona 3, Catalan for Wymax, Pow Pow, Donnie Weston, Dog Gonson, Winter 919, Zach Fan, Kenny Kitten, Demi Hammer for Hire, Ellen Noel, Frost, Control, Biogenesis, Problem, Mega Keys, Scuffies, Go Ghost, Toad, Reese, Hockey, Baxter, Tim, I'm 794, Balloon Hook, Wank, the Windy Wankerly, Mr. Techno, Squeak, Joe DePetus, Smig, Wigan, Jensen, McAdvertising, Jacob Garcia, Kipikins, I American Idiot, Harms, on the Chin, Oh No, Session, Raven, Tuna Wing, Single 7, Rocher, Wanna Be Hobo, Wested, JMMSG, Veg, Karen Allspex, all Heaven, rain on her night till she dregs on your lord. I still don't know what that means. Okay, toodles.